I can do that, maybe. Sure sounds like it's on. Can you hear me through the feed? Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here tonight. We sincerely appreciate it for all of you in the room, for all of the tens of thousands watching online right now, all the ships at sea. We appreciate your attendance. Thanks for spending some time with us on a Tuesday evening when the sun is still out at 6 o'clock. Let's everybody celebrate that, right? So I'm going to do some opening remarks real quick, and then we're going to have the following folks here from the City of Ohio Soccer Club. From Near West Rec, from our own program, from May Dugan, Andy Treris, and then from our neighborhood safety program, Whitney, and then some closing remarks. And so a little light on the agenda, which should give us plenty of time afterwards to stick around if you have questions or want to chat about anything else going on in the neighborhood. We are glad to do that. So some updates from us first. So we are currently working on a process with Tremont Development Corporation, as many of you know, to look at future operations of the two groups to see if it makes sense for us to merge employees, to merge buildings, to merge forces. Basically, money's running low for organizations like ours, and so how can we be smarter about how we spend that money? So that's ongoing. We had our big kickoff meeting last week with our friends at Tremont and Sangfroid, who is the consulting company you see up here on the logo. Really, that was a very productive 2.5 hours spent. So they've done board surveys and staff surveys. All of that's going to expand out to the community coming in March and April. So resident group leaders expect to hear from us to be involved in a roundtable. Some of the rest of you, we're going to ask you to do interviews with them to be able to talk more about our organization and how we can best work together for the neighborhood. So plenty of time for feedback. We're not going to get to recommendations and planning until May. And so you'll have plenty of time to be able to be involved in this process, and we'll send things out very soon. All right. Lorraine Avenue, Cleveland Midway Project. Right outside the window here, all the way from, let's see, West 20th all the way to West 65th on Lorraine Avenue. The most important line here is the very top line that says not our project, because it's not our project. This is a City of Cleveland project. This is something that's been going on for 10 years now. You've seen a recent surge in information about it because they closed the funding gap a little bit. There's still a funding gap, but there's still lots of planning to do. Nothing is locked in about this project. Despite what you may have heard out there on the streets of Ohio City, nothing is being rammed down anyone's throat. There's no ulterior motive here. There's still plenty of opportunity for feedback. So you all are going to be engaged over the next couple of months with another public open house, with community advisory committee that's forming. They're going door to door with those business owners, and then coming to individual block clubs where it makes sense, and individual resident groups, and lots of ways to be involved. Actually, the city had a few representatives meet with our real estate committee, and so Emily over here. If you have any questions about how that meeting went and what we can learn from that, but there really is plenty of time to get involved in this Lorraine Avenue Midway project. So we'll let you know more as we know more. Tree and environmental program. If you are interested in being a part of our tree committee, there are two people here. There's one person here you can talk to tonight. There's Whitney over here in the middle. Tila may be joining us at some point, but they would love to have your help. So we're looking at tree planting programs around the neighborhood and how we can greenify Ohio City and also improve our tree canopy, which is disturbingly low. When you look at the neighborhoods around the city, we are really bad. Which is strange because I think a lot of other things in the neighborhood we like to be out in front. That's one thing we're way behind, and so we're trying to. All right, next month's community meeting is going to be complemented by, taken over by, depending on how you want to look at it. Our Talk of the Town program really focused on neighborhood safety. And so Whitney has been leading the efforts to put that together. So next month's community meeting is really all going to focus around safety. We'll still do a few updates in the beginning like these, but the tone of the meeting and the tenor of the meeting is going to be focused around one topic. We're going to do this quarterly. So instead of trying to get you all here for another weeknight, another time during the month, every third month of the community meetings, we're really going to focus around single topics for you to learn more about. So stay tuned more about that. Law enforcement panel, folks from the 2nd District, folks from CMHA, and we'll make sure that you get the latest updates on those. Couple of events to update you on. The Ohio City Open is coming up on April 13th. It is a wild amount of fun. It takes place right across the parking lot over there. Come and play putt-putt. Dress up like a goofball if you want to. Wear your regular clothes if you want to. Really don't care. But it's a really super fun event that Katie leads up for us and has become our top fundraiser for the year. Our organization is a nonprofit, despite what you may have heard. So we always are looking for ways to improve our funding, and you all are a part of that. So please consider coming to this event and checking out 9 holes of mini golf that are themed to Ohio City, including the West Side Market, including, what else is on there? The St. Ignatius Irish Town Band, the breweries. There's lots of putt-putt holes that go through all of the Ohio City, the cemetery. Oh, the cemeteries, forgot about cemeteries. So come and you'll have a really fun event. Bring some friends too. So Street Festival is coming back this summer, September of 24. Don't have a date yet, depends on the Brown schedule, but we'll let you know as soon as we know. If you'd like to get involved in that, email Katie or email anybody at the office and we'll put you in touch with the right folks. And just a reminder for tonight, if there are questions that come up, make sure that you're being respectful, raise your hand. We have a microphone. The one thing we'd ask is if you do have questions, I'll run around with a microphone to get you through the streaming video to our tens of thousands of fans online. And we will make sure that we can hear you on the video, okay? Try to keep things comments concise, and try to keep your questions concise, and then we'll come back to you once everybody's had a chance to ask a question. So, okay? With that, I'd like to introduce some friends to come on up. I think Jason and Ed are here from the City of Ohio Soccer Club, and they have a really unique story and a really unique way of overlapping with our organization through Near West Rec. So, guys, come on up.
Thank you. How are we all doing tonight? Can you hear me? Awesome. Jason Lanzo, Ezlaki with the Ohio City Soccer Club. Who knew that there's actually a soccer? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Is that good? Yeah. Awesome. We can pass it back and forth. Who knew that there's actually a soccer club here in Ohio City? See a couple hands. That's good. We've been in formation for a few years. We have a very short season from mid-May through mid-July, so we pick up a lot of the college kids coming off, and we'll run through a couple slides. But yeah, it's free family programming. Really a lot of fun, and Ed's going to tell you a little bit more about the club. Is there slides you want me to? Oh, there we go. We'll talk a little bit more about the mission, but we are part of a group called the Northern Ohio Soccer League. It's a collection of clubs that play right around that time frame from mid-May through mid-July with an off-season playoffs. Most of the clubs are centered around Northeast Ohio. We play at St. Ignatius. The games are free. It's great family fun. The last couple of years, we've been really trying to do a lot with more community engagement, working with OCI. Market Garden is our lead sponsor. Ohio City Pasta is one of our sponsors. We're actually going to have a branded pasta sauce this year, which I work with a lot of soccer clubs with around the United States, and I think this is the first time we've ever actually had a branded pasta sauce. The team's going to do a takeover of the Ohio City stand at the West Side Market in May. We'll do a lot of marketing and social media around that to encourage people to come out and buy pasta, buy the sauce. We work very closely with Refugee Response, the Ohio City Farm, just a lot of partnerships. I'm going to turn it over. Actually, I just want to hit this and then I'll go back. So you'll see some of our partners here. You probably, if you went to Mason's Creamery at all last year, you probably saw a special kit. You may have seen our jerseys out there. We did a special kit with Mason's last year. We're actually going to do one this year with Black Cat Barbershop. We're trying to make this really as Ohio-centric as possible and work with a lot of partners, a lot of sponsors and community engagement. Ed, I'm going to turn over to you to talk a little bit more about the youth programming.
Yeah, thanks. So we are very excited to be here. So one of the things that we are really doing, so we are a nonprofit. We are tied in with Resource Cleveland. That is that is essentially how we started. Noah, our founder, works there. And what we are doing is trying to find a way to use sport to build a community. One of the ways that we build better communities is by having safe places for everybody in the community to have access to sport. We thought that, as Jason was talking about, we have 2 adult men's teams and we have 1 women's team. And what we're doing this year is we are expanding our youth soccer programming. One of the things that we are going to be kicking off in the God, that's a terrible pun, and I'm sorry, that was not intentional. What we're going to be doing is we're going to start running youth clinics over here at the newly installed futsal court at Urban Community and, well, Resource as well.
Resource, right.
It is going to be for 5 to 7-year-olds, and this is something that we will be making an announcement. It'll be in the newsletter for people to sign up. It will be 9 a.m. on Saturdays, and this is something that will be open to everybody in the community. It's going to be free as well.
Yes.
Like that's one of the other things. Like we are doing this to expand access to sport. So this is just something that we're really excited to do. We're starting off with 5 to 7 this year. One of the other things that we do, we sponsored a team in Near West Rec this past year. We work with Corner 65 at Resource to have their kids play in leagues at 4 Sports in Rocky River. And we're going to expand that to have the kids play under our umbrella in Ohio Youth Soccer. One of the things that we are looking to do is establish soccer here in Cleveland and Northeast Ohio. There's so much politics involved in that, and we don't want to do that. But what we are looking to do, aside of what they are doing with Near West, this is in complement to them, to have a funnel to move kids up throughout soccer as they would like to. And so boys, girls, everybody providing that sort of outlet.
Questions?
Any questions for these guys? Pretty fun stuff. So if you haven't seen the futsal court yet, it's over on the other side of the building over there. It looks like a little hockey rink. I'm not a soccer guy, so I will say it looks like a very small hockey rink from the outside. But when you walk up to it, you'll see that it's lined for soccer and has goals on both ends. It's really, really neat, the size of it. So I'd encourage you to check it out.
Now, I was going to say, we'll give information to OCI, our schedules, information, more stuff will come out in the newsletter, on social. I know the presentation is going to be sent out, but you'll have our contact information here.
All right, thanks guys. Round of applause for our friends. And they've got to go run wind sprints now, so they got to go. But if you have questions for them, all of the information is up here on the screen. Thanks, guys.
So next up tonight, we have from our very own staff, Peter Eckendorf, who, before he comes up here, or on his way up here, I want to say, we did our casino night 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago about, and it was a wonderfully fun experience. The person who usually runs that is Carrie Palma, who has been with Near West Rec for 7 years now. Carrie is at home with a little baby. With Kennedy, and so Peter went from, hey, I'm going to support this event, to, hey, I'm going to run this event overnight, and then pulled it off, and we made almost $5,000 for our Near West Rec programs, which is awesome. That's a compliment to the whole team for chipping in, but being the host extraordinaire and jumping on all of that. So Peter is going to come up and give you some of the latest, and I think also Tyler's going to come up with Peter maybe.
So supporting a couple of months that I've had in my entire career. So I'm super privileged to be here and honored to be a part of what's going on and what we offer the Near West Side athletes. My counterpart right here is Tyler Hatcher. He's new with us this year. We've got 2 new game day coordinators. He's also grabbing some internship hours from Kent State University. So he's been a huge help. If you've been to any of our games recently with basketball, you've probably seen him with our younger divisions running the clock and managing those games. Just a couple of updates. We are currently in basketball season. That's running through the end of March. This coming Saturday, we'll be on week 3 already. So we are rolling, and we've got some great community partners. Our U8 and U10 division older leagues, the U12 and U15 leagues, are back at Merrick House this year for this first portion, and they'll be moving over just across the parking lot to Urban Community School in their gym. So this year we've got about 310 kids playing basketball, which is a great number for us. Soccer this past fall was our biggest sport to date with any league. We had over 400 kids. So we are growing, which is a really great thing. It not only shows the dedication of our coaches, but also complete learning session. Get in there and see what they have to registration site on our website.
Nearly as effective without. And so Andy Treras has been awesome supporter of the organization, But he also has another full-time job, which is crazy, working at May Dugan Center, and so he's here tonight to talk more about May Dugan and some of the programs they do down the street. So go ahead.
Thanks for the intro, Chris. Hi, everyone. As Chris mentioned, I'm Andy Traers. In addition to being a resident board member of OCI, my day job, I have the pleasure of working at the May Dugan Center at 41st and Bridge here in Ohio City. And just wanted to take the opportunity tonight to kind of give an update on what's happening at May Dugan. For those who have been by in the past 16 months, you'll have noticed that we've been renovating. And so just want to give an update on our renovation and how that will translate into increased programming over the course of the next year as we fully occupy our soon-to-be completed space. So just some background, at the May Dugan Center, our mission is to help people enrich and advance their lives and communities. And we do that through our 6 core programs serving low-income folks throughout the greater Cleveland area. And last year we served over 23,000 people, and we're on track. We're projecting that we're going to serve even more in 2020 federal funds to be a multi-service part of it. Happy to report that we're at 96% of our fundraising goal of a $7.4 million renovation. And as of about 10 days ago, we got a temporary occupancy permit for part of the building, with the full project finishing up probably April-ish. So stay tuned. Sometime, probably late spring, early summer, we'll be doing a big celebration kickoff open house that everyone will be invited to. So once we're fully occupying our space, it'll enable us to increase the number of people that we'll be serving annually. It'll also help create a modern and welcoming environment for the people we serve, as well as just the general community. And then just cool thing, we're hoping that we're going to be, we'll at least be LEED certified. We're hoping to also be LEED silver, so meeting green building standards for our project. So talking about our current programs and services, I'm just going to run through the kind of 6 core programs, and then kind of at the end I'll touch on ways that if you're interested, that you can get involved in helping support our work at May Dugan. So our food distribution program, in the past 4 years, if anyone's been on Bridge Avenue on a Wednesday, thank you for your patience. So for those who don't know, we ran a drive-through distribution starting at the beginning of the pandemic through the end of December. December was actually our last drive-through distribution because we've changed our formats, which I'll touch on here in a minute. But last year, just in that 1 year, we were able to serve over 7,000 different families at least once through our food distribution program, in the equivalent of 624,000 meals worth of food. So we're one of the largest food pantries in Northeast Ohio. A lot of it happens directly from May Dugan. Some of it does, we have delivery components as well. I see one of our delivery volunteers. Hey, Trisha. So we have delivery drivers as well as senior buildings that we deliver to as well. And so, as I mentioned, new in 2024, we've discontinued our drive-through, and we are now distributing food 3 days a week, every week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So if anyone qualifies and is in need of food, they can come, they can just walk in, or they can make an appointment. So if somebody wanted to come after work one day, they can make an appointment for 6 o'clock and pick up food as well. So second program is our Education and Resource Center. This is adult learning of all types, covers everything from adult basic literacy to job placement and financial coaching. Last year we served about 200 people in that program. This year we are expanding our English classes. We've been running English classes every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night for the past 6 or 7 years. And we've expanded that to 13 classes over the course of the week. And then we also, once our building is fully done, we'll be launching our GED testing center. So currently there is no GED testing center in the city limits of Cleveland. If somebody wanted to take a GED test, they would have to go to one of the adjacent suburbs. And so we built a testing center, and fingers crossed, if all goes well and we get authorized to do it, will be the testing center in the neighborhood and in the city of Cleveland. Our behavioral health services are open to all folks. This is mental health and addiction counseling, both in individual group formats. We also have case management as well. Last year we served over 300 people, particularly through our group programming. We're continuing to expand that service to the community. Our Trauma Recovery Center had a big expansion last year, and so the we served, just shy of 600 victims of crime last year. So we have staff that are working in all 5 police districts. And so they spend part of their time in the districts, in the office working with detectives, getting referrals, particularly for folks who are victims of felonious assaults. And so that's kind of the area that we are really supporting them with crisis stabilization, safety planning, criminal law enforcement, advocacy, as well as trauma counseling. Second to last program is our Seniors on the Move program, which is also open to everyone. So it is a socialization and education program, meets Tuesday, Thursdays. They're a really fun bunch. They do field trips, music therapy. We help them with technology so they can check their MyCharts or online banking. Just about 2 weeks ago, we had a birthday party for our oldest participant who turned 100. And so, so we had a huge birthday party for her. It was a ton of fun. And then lastly, our newest program, which just launched in September, is that Maydugan is now a refugee resettlement agency. And so we're doing kind of everything in that first kind of 3-month period. So we're picking folks up from the airport since September, 101 people. We'll do about 200 people this year, and then when we get up to full capacity, we'll be about between 400 and 500 people that will be resettling in Cleveland every year. Which leads me to my last slide. So different ways that you can support if you're so interested. One way is through in-kind donations, donating stuff. So clothing, household goods, hygiene products, cleaning supplies. And I'll specifically mention with the cleaning supplies and hygiene products is that those are things that folks can't get on food stamps. And so they're really those are coming directly out of people's pockets. And so, whenever we get them, they're really, really, people really appreciate being able to receive those when they do come up at food pantries. And then furniture has an asterisk next to it by design. So if somebody did have furniture that they were interested in donating through our refugee resettlement program, we are furnishing houses for these families when they arrive. It takes some coordination, so please don't show up at Maydugan with furniture. Give me a call, we'll work it out in advance, and we can figure out how you can make that donation. Monetary donations are always greatly appreciated, help support our work. And then volunteering is a couple different ways to volunteer. Our main ways through our food distribution program, packing food bags, produce bags, doing food deliveries, through our Education and Resource Center, GED tutoring, English tutoring, and then lastly with our refugee services, our home setup and cultural orientation are kind of our main ways that we're using volunteers currently, but more opportunities to come with that. And so the QR code will take you right to our Get Involved page where all these things are listed, or you can go to maydugancenter.org.
Awesome.
Thank
Questions for Andy? Do you want the microphone to ask a question, or do you want to wait?
Okay, so I'm Tricia Ketchmeyers. I'm chair of the 4552 Block Club, and I do food delivery for Andy, who is the loveliest person you've ever met in your life. And I'm also a social work supervisor at Metro, so you definitely need to come give this presentation, because each topic I'm like, oh, yeah, we need that. So are you on the Unitas platform?
Yes.
With an asterisk?
Yes. We need to use it more often, but yeah,
Okay.
We have registered.
How long do the refugee services last? Because a lot of those are 90 days.
Yep. Yeah, so for every refugee that we resettle, we are for sure working with them for 90 days.
Okay.
Some of them we continue to work with them through month 8.
Okay.
Others, it's potentially up to 2 years. Kind of
Okay.
depends on which program and what their needs are.
Okay.
But for sure, 90 days.
Okay. And I do have other questions, but they're kind of specific. But
And I'll hang around. So
Yeah,
folks,
yeah.
Yeah.
anything for the LGBT population?
Yeah, so we have a counselor that works with, our direct relationship with, the LGBT Center or specific programming has kind of ebbed and flowed over the years. We were running Gay Straight Alliance at John Marshall High School for many years that petered out during the pandemic, and there hasn't really been a good group at the school to bring it back. But we have a counselor who's our LGBT/Ryan White HIV services counselor. And so we provide mental health services that are culturally specific for the LGBT community. Cool.
Anyone else? No? Thanks, Andy. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
And last but certainly not least, from our own team again, Whitney Long-Jones, who's the Director of Community Engagement, with our Talk of the Town next month, talking about community safety. It made sense to talk more about community safety tonight. So I'm going to turn it over to Whitney to take that on for us. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. So everyone, anyone who doesn't know me, Whitney Long-Jones, Director of Community Engagement at Ohio City, Inc. And Chris was mentioning earlier that we are going to be implementing a neighborhood safety program. So a lot of what we heard from residents is that there is a concern. You know, what is it that we can do to help support or to help address some of these concerns in the neighborhood? And increasing rates of violent crimes and car theft and car break-ins is some of the things that we're hearing a lot about lately. So looking at a couple of items that we've done already, so we have a Ohio City camera program, and we have the ambassador program that operates through our SID, the Special Improvement District, run by the Ohio City Improvement Corporation, OCIC. So bringing those two items in conjunction with working with youth and children in the neighborhood, and you'll hear some folks say that some crime happens among our youth because there's not much to do. So providing some extracurricular activities, finding more ways to get them involved, and also working with our seniors. How can we support our elderly and make them feel safe so that their aging in place is comfortable and improve quality of life? So a couple of the areas that we're focusing on is violent crimes, burglaries, and you can see about 10 years ago, those rates were really, really high, and then they started to go down, and around 2020, when the pandemic picked up, we started to see some of that activity again. And then it started to go back down as the pandemic, kind of evened out. And then we're starting to see those things go back up again. So you'll see right here that, and this is for Ohio City specifically, this data. This came from the NeoCanDo rates that the index that Case Western Reserve University researches and puts together. Auto theft is one of the highest crime incidents in the neighborhood, and robberies, those rates are going back up as well. So our goals through this program is reducing crime, improving safety, number one. We want to work with residents in the neighborhood so that this is led by you all. You live here, you know what's going on. We want your feedback and telling us how we can support what it is that you are most concerned about. Making meaningful connections with law enforcement. I think that's really important because a lot of the law enforcement agencies provide resources and community services that we may not be aware of. So how can we tap into those and learn a little bit more about them? Providing sensitivity and trauma-informed care training for community stakeholders. Again, just getting on the same page and understanding what crime safety really means. Like if we're thinking about that word, everyone has their own lived experiences and trauma from going through things that they may have gone through, and being able to relate to folks who may not have experienced something that someone else may have. So getting on the same page, defining, again, crime and safety, and for example, understanding the difference between suspicious activity and a suspicious person. We're labeling folks. It's natural for us to judge someone based on wanting to protect ourselves, but unfortunately, a lot of that judgment comes from outside influences like media and, again, just putting our own thoughts and perceptions into our reality and judging someone based on what we think we might know about them, whether it's correct or not. So, and collaboratively developing a sustainable model that we could share with other communities and neighborhoods that could benefit from this. So engagement for this year will look like this right here. So we have it broken down from the winter through late summer, where we want to do community surveys. We want to facilitate some focus groups. We want to, again, have this led by residents and stakeholders in the community and compensate them for their time and their energy. and then also do some community safety audits. And again, just breaking down that timeline, so for our focus groups, we'd love to talk to residents and social service agencies. So is Andy still here? I'm gonna put you on the spot, Andy, and say, like, if someone participates, we wanna engage as many people as possible and ask that folks just participate in one, but if for whatever reason, you know, it's valuable for someone to participate in more than one focus group because you fall into more than one category, maybe you can just switch your hat and look at it from, you know, Andy's on our board, so if we're talking to our board members and our staff who are also residents in the community, maybe you can look at it from that perspective, and then if you participate from a social service perspective, change your hat and give input from those two separate areas. So breaking this down, and we're also open if anyone has any thoughts. If there's a group missing from this list, please let us know. Brandon and I are working really closely on this along with Tila, our engagement fellow, and we want this to be resident-led. Like I said, you all know the community that you live in better than we do. So if you have some insight to how we can make the community safer based on your thoughts about the neighborhood, please share that with us. And Chris was mentioning our first event. So Talk of the Town was something that we did pre-COVID, and it was just an opportunity for us to have a more social type setting in talking about an issue that's pertinent to residents in the neighborhood. So we want to bring that back, and for this year, the topic theme will be neighborhood safety, where we're developing out this program with you all. So here are the topics for the rest of the year, and by October, we hope to have all of the information put together so that there's a plan that we're ready to implement in 2025. And the goal for, you know, maybe not this year, but between now and 2025, looking at how we can reduce crime by implementing that program. I don't know if this is ambitious, but 10% decrease in crime, like what does that mean? What does that really look like? And what areas are we talking about specifically? So that's very broad, but that is a goal of ours. And again, just looking to you to help us make that happen. So that's it.
All right, questions for Whitney? Fastest community meeting ever.
Right.
Thank you, Whitney. We appreciate it.
Just a couple more things, and then I will let you go. Join us next month where we do the Talk of the Town panel that Whitney was just talking about. We're going to be back here on March 19th, so please join us. And then that's the end of the slideshow. One of the things I would be remiss if I didn't mention, many of you know Tom and Kathleen Niddle, who've been long-term members of this community. Randall John Whitman Block Club has been at their house for many, many years. Tom unfortunately passed away about a week and a half ago now. So they've always been, both of them, great stewards of this community. They were here and raised kids here, and were trying to make this neighborhood what the potential it had to be in the 80s, and have stuck around and have been involved all the way through. Actually, May Dugan, I was thinking about the tree lighting, and they were on the porch across the street with a bunch of friends, and it just goes to show that from a lifetime of service. So Tom's services are Saturday, calling hours are on Friday. If anybody's interested, you can find more online about that. I will also say everyone needs to take 2 more sandwiches and 5 more cookies and a couple more bottles of water from the back there. Anything else that I'm forgetting? Oh yeah, so we are sponsoring a shuttle this year for Bright Winter this Saturday. It will pick up by the 25th Rapid Station and by, let's see, the Lutheran lots, and there's one more. And we're providing free parking on top of the hill, so leave your car on top of the hill, or you all walk the shuttle, and at Lutheran, right? Yeah. 28th in Detroit, that's the other one. So 25th Rapid Station, 28th in Detroit, and the Lutheran lot. So go down there. Bright Winters this weekend. They always have a huge turnout. I wish it was today when it was 60 and not Saturday when it's 20, but we'll go and have fun anyway. So, okay, thanks for being here. We'll talk to you next month. Thanks.